Live from the News Talk 860 KPAM studios, it's Terry Boyd's World. If it's happening in your world, it's happening in ours. Live and local. Call 503-225-0860 every weekday morning from 9 to noon. Now, Terry Boyd's World on News Talk 860 KPAM and KPAM.com.
10:07. This is a treat. I always like to, when I've met somebody long ago, it seems long ago, but it was probably 6, 7, maybe 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Trent, that we first met. You were in a band called Sawtell.
Yes, sir.
And we were working in music, and I happen to live on the outskirts of Oregon City, really more towards Malala, and you're from Malala, and we all kind of know a bunch of the same people. Mm-hmm. And I forget how we originally connected, but you came in the studio with the band, and the first record was really good. It was a really good record. It was I would call it a top 40 record. And it was, the thing that was tough, you had Goo Goo Dolls were out at that time. You had a whole bunch of bands that had, I'm not going to say it's a similar sound, but it was, you guys had a sound that.
Yeah. We modeled all that off of all those bands too.
Right.
We
You're
really,
influenced by them.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we listened to growing up. And
sure. And it was, I remember us playing it, and it didn't get enough traction, right? Is that ultimately what happened?
Ultimately, the business. When you have the financial race of trying to get something heard on a mass scale is really hard. Especially when you're just a bunch of kids recording stuff in a garage,
Right.
So,
No, I know firsthand because I financed a lot of stuff for my son and his band early on. And that's what it takes. It takes family. It takes friends. You got to take odd jobs. You got to do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
Plus you still have to write music.
Yeah.
And that's, it's not an easy thing, right?
No, it's not. Time is valuable for sure.
So let's talk about that race, to get a record done, because it'll lead to another conversation here in a minute. I think most people's perception, even my own, long before I got in this business, was, man, being a musician has got to be the greatest gig in the world. And people will call it being a rock star or a country star or whatever. It's the greatest job in the world. Not saying it's not.
Yeah.
But it's like I used to have this conversation all the time with one of my sons. It's called the music business. That hour and a half that you're on stage a night, that's the fun part. The other 23 and a half hours in a day,
it's work.
Right?
It's a lot of hard work. And it's a lot of hard work up front with no pay.
That's the hard part, right?
I think the hardest part in the music industry for any artist that's trying to make it out there and be something that's a household name is, how do I continue going and making it to that breaking point where I'm coming out and doing a bunch of stuff and people are having a following and stuff like that. It's really tiresome to it's like you're beating your head against the wall most of the time, but it's worth it in the end if you can stick it out, Yeah,
it's finding all the gigs that actually will work, and then throw into the mix now. You're a family guy. You got a new baby.
Yes. I got married. My 2-year anniversary is this December, and my baby turns 1 December. So it's definitely something new.
That's so not rock and roll. Normally what you do is you go out and you have like 2 or 3 kids. Yeah. Then you think about getting married. So, congratulations to you guys.
No, we're pretty traditional when it comes to stuff like that. We want to.
So Sawtell comes to an end, right? I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And I
10 years, man.
Right. Yeah.
That's a long time. I spent 10 years, and the thing is I wrote the music and I sang the songs and stuff for Sawtell, and really it's just a rebranding. It's still the same old me writing the same old songs kind of thing. Yeah. Right. But it's new and it's all improved and it's, definitely on a different level. But 10 years is a long time to really work at something and just put it to rest. It was bittersweet.
Yeah. Cause even down to the name of the band, that's just the road that you guys all grew up in Malala. It's a road it's an out in the country road, man. I almost bought a house out on that road. It was just funny.
Well, that was the thing. I wanted to call it Sawtell just because that was the only place I couldn't get cell phone reception. So I'd go up and sit and write songs on my car and not have to be bothered with anything. So.
Right. So now you make the move. You want to make the move to country music. Am I right?
No, not necessarily. The big thing for me is I just want to be
an artist.
Artist all around. So whatever comes out of my mouth, if it's country, if it's rock and roll, it's whatever. That's what I really want to. I don't want to put myself in a box.
Do you sit down and when you're writing music, do you sit down and go, okay, I have this thought, this is a rock song? Or do I have a thought that, hey, this is a pop song, or this might fit country? Or do you just say, this is a great song, and I got to get it right?
Yeah, and I think that's more of it. The last thing you said. It's just the vibe of it. If it vibes, then go with it. You know, if it's rock and roll, it's rock and roll. If it's country kind of thing. That's kind of my mentality when it comes to it. But that all can change in the studio too. Sure. And that happened with a couple songs, and when we were recording this record, that I came in with an original idea, and then when I got into this think tank of awesome musicians, they're just like, "What if we tried this?" You know, and it turned out to be 10 times better than I could even thought. You know.
I love it the way you paint it. You paint it as a think tank of awesome musicians. I posted the video of the recording of Ghost.
Oh yeah,
it's on our Facebook page, Terry Boyd's World, AM 860 KPAM. As I'm watching it, I'm like, wow, this is the most realistic depiction of what it's like to actually try to get a song recorded, because those guys were tough on you, man. They were really, really hard on you.
Yeah, it was an experience for sure. I mean, getting into Fame Studios to record was, I thought was going to be a lot harder than it was. Like, I just walked in the front door and my, hey, can I record here? Yeah. They're like, yeah, you could pay to record here. Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
But being able to sit down with like Will McFarlane and Justin Holder, Justin Holder played drums, and Will McFarlane played guitar, and he played guitar for Bonnie Raitt and Neil Young and stuff like that for many years. And to be able to sit there in a booth, isolation booth, and look through a window and see him jamming out to one of your songs was just,
there's a part in there.
We should try this. I'm like, yeah, let's do that.
Your eyes are like the size of softballs.
Yeah. Man, the first day was hard, man. I was just sitting there going, I felt like I had no business in that booth, but
it was funny because your eyes are telling the story of, man, this is the greatest thing ever. Your body language is like, I'm about ready to pass out, right? You know, I mean, exactly. And it was, and I can only imagine. So when you go to get the first words out of your mouth, what's going through your head?
Don't mess up. Don't mess up. Don't look like a fool in front of these guys. You know, that was my big thing.
And then after you get the first couple of verses out, first couple of words, and all of a sudden you go, okay, I'm in a groove.
Yeah.
Was it more nerve-wracking to play your guitar in front of musicians or sing in front of these guys?
Guitar. Because I'm a singer first,
right.
I think, in my head. You know, I'm not the greatest guitar player in the world. I could put together a song, you know.
Right.
So playing guitar was kind of nerve-wracking. But at the end of the day, they were there too, you know. There were a bunch of older guys playing music now, and they were at that point at one point in time. So I got to remind myself that this is my starting point, you know, from here on out kind of thing. This is where I'm really trying to push. And these guys are here just to support, and they did a great job with it.
So when you come up with a song like Ghost, where's that come from?
You know, it just depends. Sometimes I could be watching the news, and sometimes, you know, something pops up and a story pops up. I'm like, yeah, that'd be kind of cool to write a song about that. Or, you know, it just comes at random times, man. You can never really tell, you know, where it'll come from or when it'll come, you know, but when it does come, it usually comes in about 20 minutes.
Be great if you could write a song about Matt. Yeah. Can get some sort of song, and we can have that as the Matt song from here on out.
Yeah.
All right. So
he's got better things to do than Matt.
All right. I'm gonna count on you for doing that. Have you ever been working on a song, and maybe it's Ghost, and I'm asking this question. I forget who was a country guy. Remember we were talking with him this summer, and he's a new country artist.
I'm
gonna buy me a boat guy.
Yeah.
Chris Jansen.
Chris Jansen.
So Chris Jansen was on with us, and we're talking, right? And he's writing this song about his wife, a really heartfelt song about his wife. And I asked him about, you know, when you're writing a song like that, he said, man, he had like 20 different versions of it, and he wasn't ready until it was absolutely perfect. Because there isn't, because I would assume when you're an artist and you write songs, it isn't get it done. This has to be perfect.
Yeah, I can agree with that on a certain standpoint, but like for me personally, whatever falls out of my mouth first usually is the most raw form and most real thing I could say. So I go with that, and obviously you clean it up after you know, write it down and stuff like that and make it tight. But for me, whatever falls out of my mouth first is truth.
Have you ever recorded something and then later wanted to go back and change it?
Yeah. In the first record, yeah, because I didn't have my voice yet, I guess, as an artist of what I heard in my head, and I didn't speak up when we were doing our first record. There's a couple things, but now it's, you know, if I really feel strongly about something, I'll say it and say, no,